Recording in progress.
I just used to do it with Bonnie.
All right. All right. Well, welcome everyone. It's now 7:30 p.m. and I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board of Meeting on the 7th day of June, 2021. Would everyone please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Trustee Gopal?
Yes, sir.
Would you lead us?
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. We ask that you guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. We ask you to impart your supreme wisdom upon these activities so that we may reach a successful conclusion. And as always, we thank you for being the source of our guidance. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I figured that is gold.
Yeah, that's his goal.
Well, why don't we need mics anymore?
They're up here.
Oh,
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Present.
Cutrick,
Present.
Krug is present, Kessler,
Here.
Gopal,
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have a full board present.
Thank you. I'd like to note for the record that the Township Attorney Jack Belzer and Operations Manager Tom Broker are also present. Additionally, the following Township officials are also present via Zoom. Our Zoning Administrator, Mike, our, Julia's not here today?
No,
She's not? And our Township Engineer, Alan Lawrence. Okay, that's just us. Tom, will you detail the procedure for those attending this virtual Zoom meeting?
Yes. Everyone who has an opportunity will have an opportunity to speak during times of public comment. Tonight we have a first reading of an ordinance, during which time comment will be accepted, and also at the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download at the Township website at www.fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm done.
All right. The first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? A motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you call the roll?
Yes, sir, thank you. Krug votes yes, Cutrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, agenda stands approved as presented. Next business in order is the meeting minutes. Included in your packet are the minutes from the May 17th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? All right, hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on, the next business in order is expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices?
I have some questions.
All right.
First of all, we're paying Republic. Are we getting any kind of a credit for the notion that we're not getting the yard waste picked up?
That is under discussion. We do anticipate negotiating or requesting a statement credit, which we would be able to pass on to our residents in the form of a reduced assessment on next year's tax bill.
Sounds like a good plan. I'm not castigating them. I know everybody's having trouble finding people. And I heard some of the things they're trying to do to get people, so it is not a lack of effort.
No.
It's a lack of bodies.
They are trying,
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
There's another charge for WS, I think it's Darla, I can't read my own handwriting. It says it's for a 4-inch valve for $2,400. I think Mr. Lawrence probably has to explain that to me.
Now, that's a fire
truck.
equipment.
Fire truck. So,
It's a valve on a
Valve.
truck and it's $2,400.
yeah.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah, it's a single item cost.
It's a single item. I did meet with the chief when it came across my desk.
Oh,
so
you noticed that
I
too?
just want.
Okay.
I
So
just
know
wanted to let you know, I
orange
did,
valves look
I
like,
actually
but-
called them into the office to go over it.
Okay, all right, go Bigs, that's what I got.
Any
Oh,
other questions?
I did have one more. On the MTA check, I saw the material that identified the charges for the online stuff. How do we get to 8? Cause I got the dues rolled into it.
Dues are in there,
Maybe that's it, maybe I just don't know. I thought the dues weren't all that expensive, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
yeah, the dues are 6,400.
Oh, all right,
Right.
never mind.
So, and Tom and I did have a class, Tom's going to talk to this later, but I'm really big on continuing education. And when you looked at it, with the discount we get for attending and all the online courses that we can take, I felt it was certainly worth. Tom, I think, sent everyone links today, and I encourage everyone to please, continuing education is a must. So if we're sitting on the board, we should be doing it. So.
I thought those charges were reasonable looking at them. I thought that was a good move in terms of the travel costs you're gonna save
And it's unlimited. We can all take the courses I'm going to be taking,
Yeah.
quite a few courses, so.
Yep. Well, I think we ought to mandate it for our plan commission and ZBA.
I'm going to, Tom and I have already had that conversation. He's
So-
going to send it out saying, here's, with links to the ones,
And I'm not throwing any stones at anybody, I just think it's a good idea to get refreshers if you've done it, and I will include myself in that, cause it's been a long time since I've done it.
Correct. We've had the conversations. Any other questions regarding any of the invoices? All right, a motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $338,306.88 for payment.
So moved.
Support.
All right, the motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Reed,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Approve votes yes. Cotrick.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, the expenditures stand approved as presented. The next business in order is public hearings. We have none. Moving on is reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? No, didn't see anybody upstairs. I do have one update. As you know, we had a couple of meetings with regards to the Genesee County Southern Lakes Park and Rec agreement for the Deer Run soccer facility. I'm just happy to announce, and most of you may know, but that they have signed an agreement with the county and SLPR for the Deer Run soccer facility. We had, I think, 2 or 3 meetings, and everybody got together. It went very smooth, and now they are at Southern Lakes. Everybody is happy. They formed a new soccer association, but I do want to give a sincere thanks to Sean Shoemaker, which you know is our county commissioner, Ed Colito from Southern Lakes. They did a great job. Amy from AYSO, Mike Gilmore from La Forza, and Rick Miracle from the Nationals. They all put in a lot of effort, made every meeting, and now we have 750 kids playing soccer in our township.
And Southern Lakes is running.
Southern Lakes is running it. It's gone. We are done. We are out. And so again, we have 750 happy families of kids. They're playing soccer in our township, and also remember they're spending money in our township, or around here as they're here playing soccer, they're going to Uncle Ray's and businesses. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention that it was done. The next business in order is communications. Michigan Township Association Online Education and Training Opportunities. Operations Manager, will you explain?
Yes, everyone should have gotten an email today along with the members of the Planning Commission, ZBA, and our township staff outlining procedures on how to access the MTA Online Learning Center. What I put in the packet was just a listing of the classes. We did get the premium pass, so it's basically everything on that page is available. The one thing I will note in the directions that I sent out, it said that you may not be able to use Chrome to run the webcasts. I accessed 2 of them just fine through Chrome, so it may work just fine. But one of the selling points of the premium pass is a 20% discount on attending the annual conference next April. Since it'll be in person again, I'm hoping most board members will make an effort to go. It's a great conference. It's in Lansing next year. Excuse me. But you know, we basically have our choice of all the online classes they offer under the package we bought, and I think it's a great opportunity for refreshers or you know, expanding your township knowledge base.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions at all? Again, we talked about it, but I surely would encourage everyone to keep up with their continuing education. All right, the next business in order is adoption of ordinances. We have rezoning of R 21-004 Adam Shoemaker, part of parcel 06-03-400-001, also known as 11394 Torrey Road. It's to be split off and combined with 11428 Torrey Road. R3 to C3, this is the introduction and the first reading. So basically this is just an introduction of the proposed zoning ordinance amendment to rezone part of Torrey Road parcel to allow it to be combined with the property at 11428 Torrey Road. Our zoning administrator Mike Deem, can you kind of review that?
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. So what we're talking about is the property that's at the end of North Long Lake Road on Torrey Road. It's where the bakery is going to be going in. And the front part of that parcel is zoned C3. And they have the opportunity to purchase 1.1 acres behind it, and they want to adjoin it to the bakery parcel. The property behind it is zoned R3. It's sort of sandwiched in between the bakery parcel and then the industrial parcel that comes off of Thompson Road. So by adding it to this parcel, the goal is to rezone it to C3, so it's all one zoning district. It complies with the master plan. The master plan has this area as mixed use. And this is a pretty straightforward rezoning request. We're just looking to get one zoning for the parcel.
Thanks, Mike. Treasurer Tucker, do you have anything else from the Planning Commission you'd like to?
Fortunately, I was in Mackinac City when that particular meeting was being held, so I can't give you any in-person things, but I can tell you that this property is in that newly created area that we did in the master plan that's supposed to be mixed use. So I would agree with Mike's analysis that this is a fairly straightforward rezoning. I've been kind of curious to watch and see what happened when we opened up that mixed use area, and we're getting a lot of action in it, but nothing really out there. I mean, our first request was for a single-family residential subdivision. We've had some storage structures, obviously. That appears to be what is driving the market, is the storage facilities, best I can tell. But in terms of just the sales and things going crazy in that district, it hasn't happened up to this point. Add some water to the equation and it might start percolating.
All right, I don't see the applicant online that would like to either present or comment, so at this time the board will entertain public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or attending via Zoom virtually that would like to speak? Okay, the second reading and vote on adoption of the proposed rezoning ordinance will be conducted at our June 25th meeting, or 21st meeting, sorry. All right, next business order is unfinished business, none. The next business in order is new business, proposal to redesign, update Fenton Township website. Hopefully you've all had time to review the memo in your packet. Also, Operations Manager Broker sent each one of you an email with links to short videos from Unicode. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at those. Operations Manager, can you kind of just bring the board up to date?
Sure, I'll just kind of paraphrase it. The memo kind of sets everything out. We did solicit proposals from 3 companies for redesign, hosting and maintenance of the website. And so I laid out the costs, not only for the year 1 cost, which includes the design, development, and implementation, and the first year hosting, maintenance, and support, and then the ongoing costs. So after reviewing all the proposal details, visiting several websites created by each company, I came to the conclusion that Municode would be our best option for the website redesign. Even though their cost is higher, I think their, the phrase I use, I think their deliverables are a cut above the other proposals. And I listed some of those in the memo, but also they've been in business, for 70 years. They were ordinance codification, I think, was their first line of business. They have a lot of other government solutions that we could eventually incorporate into our township and into the website. So I think it's money well spent to go this direction with the website redesign. We do have Greg Huggins from Municode on the Zoom call. I know, Greg, did you have a couple of comments you wanted to make, and then also you can take some questions.
Yeah, Tom, that's exactly right. Municode, as everybody might know, is the largest codifier in the country, having been in that segment since 1951. As we've added other solutions, we have a very different approach, as Tom mentioned, that it has an interoperability. The search capability will allow a crossover from not only the web environment, but over into the code of ordinances and the meetings and other parts of our technology. So again, a very different approach, but again, it's meant to break down the disparity that a lot of municipalities are dealing with multiple, compartmentalized solutions that have, no interaction and no interoperability. So this integration is a true integration between solutions and really is a very different approach.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, before I move into board discussion, I'd like to kind of just go over a couple of things. As you know, Tom and I spent a lot of time in the first 100 days going over, meeting with staff, needs, things like that, and this board has been very open-minded and approved a lot of the projects that we feel. I've been using the term take us into the 21st century, but things that we actually need to do. We went into phase 1, which was upgrading our hardware and our software. We've done that. It's now starting to be installed. I think didn't the server go in today?
The server is on site. We are not yet connected to it. We're working on migrating our existing BSNA applications to that this week, and then the user data also probably by the end of the week.
All right, so that phase is moving along. The second thing that we came to the board for was, though we were using PEG money, was to put together what you see here, and that is, I think the future, though we are going to be meeting in person, I think that the future of these type of meetings are going to be via Zoom and virtual. Going into the future, I think it will give an opportunity for a lot more people to be involved. And we, last meeting we came and requested a large format printer. Again, we met with all the departments and the staff efficiencies that we talked about, digitizing everything that we have in a room down here that's 20 by 20 that has paper. We'll be able to digitize all that, scan all that, digitize it. Also, being able to provide our residents with copies. They come in, whether it's building plans, whatever they want. So I think that, and basically our website upgrade is really just kind of like a continuation of those things. I know that Tom and I spent well over 2 months, right, Tom? Looking at different companies. Even Tom had staff take a look, take a couple of hours and look at the different sites and things like that. So we spent a lot of time on it. And beyond question, though it is more expensive, Municode was the best for what we determined, what the township's needs are going to be going forward. We plan on incorporating a Facebook and Instagram. My goal is to, or Tom's goal is to be able to communicate with our residents. I have big plans on the way that we're going to communicate with our residents in the future. We talk about setting up special assessment districts, and we talked about having a place on our website where we could, once one started, they could actually come to our site and fill out the form. You talk about service, waste service, and we get, I think there was like 170 calls over a 10-day period, Tom, and if I'm exaggerating or understating.
All right.
And not that we would eliminate those calls, but what we would be able to do is, as people opt in through either their email, their phones, things like that, we would be able to communicate with them and tell them. For instance, people still call and say, hey, it was, let's say, Memorial Day weekend. Well, they don't come on Friday, they come on Saturday. Well, you get 20 phone calls saying that. It is simple to communicate. So my plan is to really take what you're seeing here, and not only with updating code, codification, all that stuff, but just being able to, being able to communicate. So other things we can do is like PSAs. I talked to the chief, fire chief, having him do PSAs, every year doing something on when you change your smoke alarm, things like that. Just gives us the opportunity to get out there and talk to our residents all the time. And so we will be gathering, hopefully, people will be opting in through their emails and their voice, or through text. So I have hundreds of ideas, and hopefully the board will allow us to do what we need to do as the township, and that's upgrade our website.
In your research, do you believe they are twice as good by their $20,000 versus 10 versus 78?
Yes, I do, and so
Okay.
does Tom. And let me also explain that right now, I think I got affirmation from Tom that if you look at the annual fee, right now we're paying about $1,500 more, Tom, right?
About
For the
$5,500
annual.
a year is what our budget is.
Is about $5,500 a year. That'll be down to about $4,000, so you've got some savings there. Also, the way this is coded, which is nice, is we can actually, the person that Tom is going to be looking at hiring is also going to be a social media person. So we'll be doing a lot of this stuff ourselves rather than paying someone to do all the input. We'll be doing it ourselves, which gives us the control, a lot more timely and things like that. So to answer your question, absolutely I do.
Do we know how many hits we get on our current?
I asked Tom to give me that.
We have some stats, I didn't memorize them, I have.
Oh,
copies.
just roughly.
It's in the thousands, but
Okay.
Most of it's homepage and assessing information.
Thousands
That's-
per what? A year?
Month. They usually go by month, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah.
It was I think he did a month. And when I looked at it and I studied them, because I study them from my businesses, if we were a business, we would be out of business. I think we can do a lot better job of communicating with our residents, and I think what you're going to do is I'd be glad to come back to this board in a year from now and report the statistics difference between what the hits are today and what they will be in the future.
Okay, just curious.
Not a problem.
If I might be able to jump in, my previous career was as a consultant, and you could tell when you're on a Municode website versus other websites, because at least from the ordinance standpoint, it was very easy to find out what you were looking for using the search function. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have, is people not knowing, we have all the information on the website, but it's not easily accessible. And, you can just type in fence and the fence ordinance will pop up. You can type in pool and it'll tell you everything you need about that. And when you look at these other websites, their ordinances are more PDF based. And you can ask Jack, right? Because Jack has been harping on us to codify our ordinances. But the Municode is the way to go to do that. Because otherwise you're looking at individual sections and they're not working together. And the information may be there, but it's not as easily accessible.
Let me point out, sometimes it's not even accessible, but never mind easy, sometimes it's just plain not accessible.
Maybe not here, but these other two providers, you're saying you have a history of them that, that they're not accessible for 13,000 less?
Well,
Oh, no, I'm saying that Municode is accessible It's, you know, compared to how we do it now, how these
Well,
other
yeah, I
companies
get how
have
we
their
do it now.
ordinances set
I'm
up.
just kinda-
You know,
that's
the
what-
Muni code has everything codified and you can just search. And I know it'll make Jack a lot happier than he currently is with our ordinance.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly these other two, but I know like when I go to other municipalities, some of their websites where you're looking for ordinance language and whatnot, it's nowhere near as clear as Muni code.
Did we go to the other websites from the municipality as our references and scroll through them and see how they are, see if, say we wanna look up, I don't know, next meetings, we're gonna go to the Municode website, we're gonna go to the, Revise and the Pixel Line, and if we look at the references on each one, we can go to their websites and look, and you're telling me that one website is 10 to 13,000 worth more than the other ones. I'm not comparing to what we have now, cause I think what we have now is pretty poor.
Good question.
I mean, have we looked, I mean, cause I think this has something like Otsego was one of them. And have we gone to the Otsego website and looked and see how navigatable those are?
Tom?
We've reviewed a number of them, and it's not that the revised websites aren't good. Pixel Line is kind of a new player. And
This is a big, I mean, even the yearly update, I understand they're all cheaper than what we got.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, 15,000 costs after 2 years of savings. We can repair a lot of sewer. I mean, that's you know, it's $15,000. And if any one of them is better than what we have now, I don't know. I mean, I'll go through and look when this week and compare all the websites, and I'm just gonna pick something random and try to find it on each website. And what is our main, you said our main traffic from our site now is the homepage to where?
Assessing,
Okay.
because the people are looking up information, title company.
I don't-
Information up.
I'm not necessarily against this website, but I certainly want to, and I haven't done it, and if other people have, I apologize, but, I know it's, is this something we're doing tonight? You're thinking?
Tom and I did spend a lot of time on this. This isn't something that we thought of. This is something that we started talking about probably, 3 months ago or more?
We just saw this Friday, so.
Well, yeah. But, that's what you would expect Tom's job to be, and then my job to be, is to make sure if we're doing it every day, is to take the time. I certainly don't want to sit here and ask for something that's $10,000 more if I didn't feel confident that it was worth the long-term investment into.
Not compared to what we have now, compared to these other sites.
Yes.
So I have a question about, I did think Municode was the slicker of, it had more bells and whistles, and I like the integration. So on page 48 of the document that we're looking at, it has, their nice graphic of all of the different pieces that they integrate together. So for what we're looking at tonight, are we just getting the website design piece, or are we including some of those other pieces? Yeah, that little diagram is what I'm referring to.
This is just the website design. The other services are available and can be integrated into the website.
So would we get the codification services of the ordinances with what we're looking at tonight?
That's not part of this proposal, no.
Not part of
That would be a
okay.
separate process.
Okay.
But the concept being, these other services, several of which I think would be useful for the township, will integrate right into the website. And it's just, I think they refer to it as their circle of governance, and it's just a better package, I believe, for the township's use.
But to Mike's point, and I have looked at the ordinances as well, like looking for something, and it is, you have to go down the rabbit hole to find, what you're looking for, and then what number superseded a prior number, and go back and find that one, and it is, you have to be dedicated to do it. I've been doing it for several years with the ZBA, so it hasn't gotten any easier. So I really like that part. So if we just go with the website design services with MuniCode, will we have that type of search functionality from the get-go? Or will we not have that type of functionality until we add the codification services?
Greg, would you like to? Is he still here?
Yep, he's
Yeah.
on.
Yep, he is.
Yeah, so the integration is part of the optimization that we do on the website. Each one of the solutions have that same search capability as a standalone solution. However, the benefit, as Tom and Vince are indicating, is when you have them in a collective group, that search carries over. So if you do an initial search on the website, you're not seeing what you want on the website. That, because of the high level of optimization, talking about metadata tagging that we do across the website and all solutions, will search any of the solutions that are integrated into that environment and render those results. So it will leave the website into your meetings or into your code of ordinances if that is where that tagging and optimization is leading it. There is no other company in the world that does that level of integration. I mean, that's truly an integrated solution, and again, it's unique in the United States.
So I guess, Greg, the question is, from the proposal that you've given us and what we're looking at tonight, will we have
Right.
that functionality, or do we need to add more pieces?
You will have search across your entire website as they continue to add content to the website. Every time a particular page or meeting is being added, every single word on that page is being indexed, every document, every image is being indexed, so that it becomes searchable as well. As I'm thinking it was either Tom or Vince said earlier, it can search down to a single word and render very effective results. And so you will have that in the website. If you add the codification services at a later date, the search will not only search the entire website, but it has that integration with the code of ordinances where it will also search your code. And again, very different. It's a truly integrated environment where these solutions actually talk to each other to render the results at a very high level.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we know how much the codification would eventually cost if we did that? Because it seems like that's maybe a major benefit of this, is that we can do the codification later, but if it's out of our cost range, do we know how much the codification costs?
We've not requested a proposal for that yet. I think it's one of those things that we need to do it. But honestly, we haven't gotten to that point where we're researched it yet.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering if we're deciding to go with Unicode partially because of the codification. I guess I just want to know that we'd be able to do the codification and get the benefits.
And what's the cost of the upgrade?
Yeah, right.
Greg, can you touch on that? I mean, give us a range.
As far as the code is concerned, I mean, one of my legal counterparts can circle back with you on that. I'm the web consultant, so this is kind of my wheelhouse as far as technology is concerned.
Okay.
Greg, what is the tech behind this? Is it a SQL database or what is it?
It's Drupal. And another benefit of Drupal, a very different approach than the proprietary companies that are out there, is that once we take the content from your current website, migrate it over into the new website, optimize it for you, train you, turn it over, you own your content. You own the entire website, you own all the content. Drupal is one of those very few platforms where if you said down the road, 2 or 3 years down the road, that you wanted somebody else to host it as opposed to MuniCode, instead of having to build an entire new website, there are companies out there that all they do is host Drupal websites. So again, you would not be tethered to MuniCode. If you chose to do it later, you could just pick it up and turnkey drop it into another hosting provider. If you did that with anybody else, whenever you decide the next time you want to update your website, it's a complete rebuild. It's just the way the technology works.
It's an open source database company is what it is, but SQL is the name brand kind of thing, so similar but open source code.
What you're asking, if you look on the MuniCode portion of this proposal, page 16 of 19, it shows at the bottom additional website options. I see one, meeting and agenda management is a $4,800 a year upgrade. Tom, can you tell me about that?
We have not looked at that.
Okay.
Yeah, but what that is if you think about all of the activities that you go through now to put together the resources that ultimately become your agenda packet, your meetings, and all the reviews, the different processes that are part of your meetings now, the meetings and agenda management solution is a front end to back end automation of that process. So you would identify what that workflow is. We would create that solution to match your specific workflow. And then as your clerks or the different people that are responsible for putting together the different components of the, again, the ultimate agenda packet, and the minutes, these things are automatically being done inside of the meeting solution. When you're having revisions and updates, depending on who the reviewers are, you're always looking at the most current iteration of that review document. If there is an ordinance that comes out of that particular council meeting, board meetings, any of your different areas that you're using the meeting solution, then if you're using Municode for your ordinances, instead of having to package up and send off, which is a typical process across the country for people updating their codes of ordinances, it automatically will auto push that to Municode for the codification update. And then as it's been completed, it will auto push that update back to your website and to all of the principals who are responsible for receiving that updated copy. So again, the meeting solution is a front end to back end entire meetings automation solution that it too will integrate with the website.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board?
I guess I would ask you, Mr. Supervisor, if this is something we want to actually vote on tonight, or maybe do a little bit more. Your call. I mean, obviously, but I mean, I can just see this is. I can see a lot of add-ons here, and a lot of them are per year add-ons that we may actually. I mean, business directory is $750 setup and $600 a year. I just see a lot of those. I guess I would, again, and I apologize, I worked this weekend, so I want to go through these sites and look at the other ones and this one and hit about 3 or 4 of each municipality that has each one of these and just kind of navigate and see if I can get where I got to get.
I completely understand. Trust me, there's nobody that wants to spend taxpayer dollars.
I know that, and I'm not, this isn't a dig at you at all, I'm just.
Oh, no, I don't take it personal.
That's a big, to me it is, to me that's a big, I can see another $7,000 a year, every year expense if we do some of these options.
I disagree. I don't think we need a business directory on our website.
You
So
think we
there's
need
a lot of
meeting
these.
and agenda management?
No.
You don't?
So, no, absolutely not.
I don't, actually, these
You don't see us needing any of these add-ons at any time in the future?
I think if you were to consider the add-ons in the future, you'd have to weigh it against the employee time cost.
Time cost.
You would have to see how much does that actually save in real man hours.
I understand.
I like the fact that we own it. I like the fact that we can put the data in ourselves, we can update ourselves, we can have somebody that's on staff, that's already on staff, no extra payroll, that can, upload any, on a timely fashion.
Tom, you said we're gonna hire somebody for social media?
Well, we have an open position up front, and we're gonna look for someone that has social media, and,
So this wouldn't be somebody from this is just somebody we're gonna throw in our office upstairs for this?
we're gonna hire we're gonna hire somebody that has the skills or can learn.
To replace what, Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna hire anybody extra, we'll just make sure that during that
They have
procurement process, that hiring process, that they have social media experience.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the comment I have, I've been on this board a long time now, I got old somewhere in the process, but I can count on my hand the number of times that I've seen a recommendation to pay for a higher cost thing. So I think that's all of our default setting, lowest lowest whatever, you know, that's, I get it, so I understand where the questions are coming from. I got 2 points. What I do in my day job involves a lot of research and this kind of thing, and there are several products that provide that. I'm coming out of my pocket, how we decide this, okay, this is my money. I pay for the most expensive search mechanism because it provides me with better results in a more efficient time frame, okay? So my default is, you know, if all other things equal, go for the cheaper. These kind of things, all other things aren't equal. My second point is that, again, when we're looking at the lowest compatible bid, we're trying to save our residents money. I think when we review this, we should look at this as an investment in our residents, okay? We're spending money to help them get things that they want out of government. And so just keep that in mind when you're looking at it. So we call it, you know, bells and whistles. Sometimes that can be a derogatory term. Functionality, ease of use, those are things that our residents would appreciate, whereas spending 10 grand on something that just causes the same frustration they have now gets you nowhere. So I'm not trying to persuade anybody, but I just think in terms of the thought process when you're looking at it, and I certainly have a problem with it.
And I wouldn't be harping on this as much if the discrepancy in the bids weren't so.
But it's a one-time deal, and it's a one-time investment in the residents. And you gotta, I mean, you still gotta make your mind whether you think that's worthwhile to them. But it is something that we are doing for the residents more so than for operations here or anything like that. That is accessibility to government.
I understand.
Okay, and I'm not preaching, not trying to preach, but just a couple things to think about.
I think we'll have one of the best websites, or working with one of the best companies. Again, we own it, like you said. If we want to switch companies, we can certainly host it, we can certainly do that. And also, I would agree with John, it's a long-term investment in our residents, meaning that if you look at our website, current website, Tom, has been up for how long?
18 years maybe?
Okay, so if you divide that up, that's about, what, 5, you know, I mean,
Right.
you gotta, you just do the math. I think it's an investment, so I'll just leave it at that. Any other, Rob? Kate?
Well, just, I guess I really do think, I've done a little bit of hunting, packing through different townships, ordinances, and I take a look at ours, and I don't think it's the easiest to look through by any means. So that codification element really does appeal to me, but not if we're not gonna wanna spend the money later to do that. So I guess I'm a little bit torn on it, just not knowing that, how much that costs, or how much it would cost with that too. So I guess if we could find out that for Unicode, or find out that for maybe Revise, those seem to me to be the two best. Then I would maybe appreciate the time if we could find out that information.
Greg, how long would it take to get a quote back for the codification section?
That typically is a conversation with the clerk or whoever is responsible for the updates with our legal department to see, you know, to what extent you're wanting to update the codes and how far back you're going. It's really a volume thing.
Okay, well, that's Tom, and you got an estimate of how long that would take? No, to Greg, yeah. Tom is readily available for that discussion. How long does it take to get the pricing?
Yeah, again, the pricing could be, you know, as quick as a meeting. I mean, I would connect you with my counterpart, which is James Bonnable up in that area, and James could give you some pricing for the updates of your codes.
So to be specific, we got another meeting in 2 weeks. You don't see any impediment to having pricing in 2 weeks from now?
No, he could get it done much quicker than that.
Okay.
Well, if the board feels more comfortable with putting this off to the meeting on the 21st, I'm fine with that. Again, like I said, Tom and I put a tremendous amount of work in this, and looking at all kinds of things. And again, I like John, I look at it as an investment, not as the difference between $7,000 and 16,000, I look at it as a long-term investment in the township. So I'm willing to place it to a vote, but if the board feels by consensus that they'd rather have any other information, and I can certainly postpone it. So.
So I'm prepared to vote, but I've got 2 board members that want to do some kicking, and I think if you allow them the opportunity to do that, they're gonna get to the same place. That's just my feeling on it.
I think that's what we should do. I think we'll hold off that way. Certainly, trustees have other jobs and do other things, and certainly understand that they don't have the time to, especially when packets come out on Friday, to spend the time that they need. So I have no problem doing that. I'm truly confident that once you've researched like we have, that you'll come to the same conclusion. So why don't we just go ahead, Tom, table it until the 21st.
Yeah, I think we need a motion to postpone.
Postpone,
Yeah.
yes. All right, so I need a motion to postpone and to approve the website redesign, hosting, and support proposal from Unico that was presented.
Postponed to the June 21st.
21st.
Yeah, meeting. Is that a motion? Or if it's not, I'll make it.
I'll move that motion.
I'll
All right.
support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Clerk Krug, will you call the roll?
Contract,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
I vote yes. Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. All right, next under new business is the Genesee County Road Commission's catch basin repair cost proposal for Dollar Lake Drive. Operations Manager Broker, will you review?
Yes, each year we set aside a certain amount of our budget toward, excuse me, catch basin repairs. This one's a little more expensive than most because of the location and because some of the street over there is actually concrete. But the road commission policy is to split the cost between the township and the county. So in this case, it's one that they've identified as being in desperate need of repair. Total cost of $16,000, and our share would be $8,000. And it is within our existing budget.
Is there any board discussion?
I think the location of it is mandating us to do something, right there on one of our lakes.
Yeah.
Not a lot of choice.
Any other board discussion? Okay, I need a motion to approve the Genesee County Road Commission cost proposal for the repair of a storm drain catch basin on Dollar Lake Drive as presented.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
All right, the motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you call the roll, sir?
Yes, sir. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Krug votes yes. Reed,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. All right, next business in order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board that has additional comments or concerns? No questions for the board? All right. Next business in order is public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. We'll now open up the meeting for public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. We don't have anybody in the audience, and I don't see anyone virtually.
Nobody on Zoom either.
So there's no.
Here's Hannah.
Hannah, would you like to speak on any agenda or non-agenda items?
I'll ask Sergeant Snyder here, how'd Memorial Day weekend go?
There's no major issues. Our deputies made a couple OWI arrests. The lake seemed relatively quiet. Business as usual, nothing significant. I usually keep Supervisor Lorraine filled in if there's anything major that happens.
Were they just on Lake Fenton?
What's that? No, like around the township.
Oh, just around the township,
Yeah.
okay.
He does a great job at that.
Thank you.
Oh, it's good to know.
Well, we certainly don't need operations Manager Broker to explain
Yeah,
the
talking-
process using
Talking to
Zoom,
the
do
world.
you? Is there any other public comment at all? If not, it is 7:21.
How about 8:20?
Short meeting. 8:21.
Okay, 8:21. If there's nothing else, I say good night and the meeting is adjourned.
It was nice trying to skip the meeting.
Recording
Yeah.
stopped.
Tom, do we want these shut down or left the way they are?